Hello everyone, welcome back to Ryam. No? Everyone's being very quiet, and I think
Scoot's acting like he expects some sort of shenanigans here. I don't know why he
what the shenanigans
wound me.
You're all monsters. That's what you all are. Welcome back to Ryam, everyone, for another wonderful week of D&D adventure, and my, did we leave last week with some alarming things. But before we get into that, as is tradition, the group will introduce themselves, and this week's question, gang, is, what is your character's favorite board game, and why?
Okay, I can go first. Hi, my name is Ebony Darkness Dementia Ravenway, and I have long, ebony black hair. That's how I got my name, with purple streaks and red tips that reaches my mid-back and icy blue eyes like limpid tears, and a lot of people tell me I look like Amy Lee. If you don't know who she is, get the hell out of here! I'm not related to Gerard Way, but I wish I was. I can't do it anymore. I got so much farther than I thought I would.
The cadence was just on point.
Thank you.
Listeners, please know that Scoot is both double face palm and like full fist of hair with both hands.
I'm so angry.
I think he's trying to massage his brain.
Or pull it out.
With Purell.
I'm trying to choke Rob with my mind through the screen.
I need you to know that this was my doing.
Yeah, don't look at me for this one, Scoot. I'm just the messenger.
This is Evil Kate and her evil.
I'm just the puppet to Evil Kate's nefarious plans.
Rob, this was a new iteration of our casting of Tasha's hideous laughter.
It really was.
The side effect of also making the casters laugh maniacally.
So before we could start the game, we had to wait 4 minutes for Rob to make a drink, and now this is almost a 4-minute facepalm from Scoot.
Almost. So anyways, hi, I'm Robert. I'm not the author of My Immortal, believe it or not, but I play Nikki, the human wizard, who probably enjoys board games in general, but in particular, like the really like complicated Euro games, like the really like messy ones that you like just really like flex her thinking and stuff. And she also has like a tenuous grasp of time because she often stays up super late, and so then she's really tired the next day, sometimes a little bit weird. So the long ones that she can like suffer through, and then other people drop out, and so she wins. That's great.
Twilight Imperium.
TLDR, Nikki plays Twilight Imperium.
Oh, no.
Got it in one, Deb.
I had to watch that game be played for 18 hours.
Oh,
I watched
Christ.
like 2 entire seasons of Better Off Dead.
Oh no.
Please know that Scoot is still face palming at this time.
We should really read something timing. I guess we could look at the time marker.
I'll go next. Since my answer is actually like the complete opposite of Nikki's. Deb, I played Tessa, the Tiefling Paladin. So Tessa likes those like fun party games where you like get to know people or ask questions, or like a collaborative team game, like Pandemic, or like one of those basic Dungeons and Dragon board games, because she is definitely not the type to get involved in a super long and complex strategy game. She's just really in it for the fun, and she doesn't really have a super long attention span.
I can go next. I'm Kate. I play Ali, our half-tiefling, half-kitsune monk, and in my spare time I plot evil pranks to play on Scoot. Including having Rob read the opening line of My Immortal in a falsetto. Ali likes the kind of board games that like get lots of people like hanging out and having fun together. So she would definitely love a game like Codenames, or like any like Pictionary type game, or like like the Whisper Down the Lane type drawing games. She would probably also enjoy something like Azul if you went for a little more of like a strategy kind of game. Because it is still fun, and it does require a little bit of slightly more complicated math, but it's a quite fun game.
That leaves me. Hi, my name's Randall, and I play Kiki, the Kenku Tinkerer. Let the record show I'm surprised that Nikki's favorite game is not Twister. Where people are not allowed to wear pants, by the way. Pantsless Twister, I thought.
Full contact Twister.
That may be favorite game, but I would not personally consider Twister a board game.
Oh, okay, that could be fair.
She got you on a technicality.
It's a map game, not a board game.
But it has like the spinning. Never mind. All right, fine. So
I would accept it.
Surprising
Nikki's
no
a pet.
one, Kiki's favorite game is a very old game called Mousetrap, where I don't know, it's like
Love
so old.
Mousetrap.
As
I
a
love
kid,
Mousetrap.
I love this so much. And for those that don't know, it's basically on a board you build a Rube Goldberg machine and you try to trap a mouse. And the reason why Kiki likes it is because it's basically a Rube Goldberg machine. It just involves sort of like engineering, I guess you could say, but there are like moving parts and things. So, yeah. But then she would set out to actually build probably an overly complicated real life version of this. Like I think she would actually spend time and ask geckos if they would volunteer to both play and maybe be captured safely, of course. But yeah,
They would do either.
I don't know. Think Scoot's recovered yet.
It doesn't look like it.
He's not recovered yet.
I will turn this session around and take you all home.
He's like rocks fall, the whole party dies.
Or too far.
God's help me, I'm taking us home.
I want to be that teacher that's like, congratulations, like recess is done. Like we're not going on the trip now.
Oh, Scoot, was it just long enough that you started to believe that there wasn't anything this week?
Yes.
Yes! Yes!
That really drove it home. Really drove
Yeah,
it
because
home.
we're using a slightly different modality to record this, and I'm like, oh, maybe we just want to get through this, but no.
No.
Oh. Kate, you should roll for psychic damage because I really do think Scoot is taking a hit.
Well, we got to do something, otherwise it'll just be me staring into the void of oblivion. Much like that particular fan fiction, but I will recover, as this isn't even the worst thing.
Fun fact, the entire thing can be comprehensively, understood as a classic alchemical allegory.
I will fly to where you are, Rob.
No, completely, genuinely. I read a whole ass fucking essay on this shit.
I will fly to where you live, because I have your address now.
Please do, come visit me. I miss you, Scoot.
I'm gonna hurt you.
No, don't do that.
No.
It's so much bigger than you.
Visit,
He could
yes.
bench press you.
He could probably bench press one of me in each hand.
Oh,
I'm rather svelte.
Not yet, but I'm getting close. Anyway,
Scoot, you absolutely could. Rob does not weigh 250 pounds.
I mean, not in my current state.
Even so.
Because of
I
your
weigh
current state,
135.
I understand.
I'm shook, as the kids say in the schools that I work in. Speaking of shook, I just needed a second, because defaulting back to the old improv training. Some of you have had some interesting visitors. Nikki, you had a wraith sort of creature show up at your window and give you a very odd warning after you heard some very strange music from a folder. And Tessa, you have a woman in your arms.
This is now not how I expected this night to go.
No.
Gotta say.
I mean, she's about the size of Thrax, so it's not hard to carry her around.
If this were Ali, it'd be a typical Wednesday.
Yeah, but I don't like the fact that there's just something opened this book and got into the temple without us knowing.
Now, only you two know this, and only you two have your particular pieces of information. As Nikki, with your magical senses, you can feel Shadowfell bullshit, or some sort of extraplanar nonsense that is kind of lingering on the window, where it touched it to kind of get your attention, but it is, as far as you can see, gone.
Okay. Or there's some lingering bullshit.
Yeah, but it's magic residue, after a teleportation spell. There's some arcane background radiation for a little bit that will eventually disperse, but it's there.
Okay. I don't think there's much that I'll be able to get, but can I just kind of poke at the window with my identifingies and see if there's anything that I can glean about the nature of the residue?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do
You
that.
touch the window and your fingies tell you it's a window.
Okay, cool. That's about how I thought that was gonna go, but it was worth a shot, you know. Okay, I'll. Is there anything that I can tell about it just from looking at it?
It was fucking terrifying.
Yep, can confirm.
It was extra planar.
Okay, yeah,
and it
good.
was
Extra
planar.
Oh, okay.
As the and it that folder you have, like the music, that sort of like My Good Charlotte doo-wop weird conveyance of music.
Yes, Doo-Wop Black Parade, I believe, is what we settled on last time.
Basically what that is, that's still with you, and you can hear it very clearly in your mind. Yeah. My father told me.
When I was a young man.
Yeah.
It works, man. Okay. I will not be touching the folder because...
The folder is gone.
Oh, okay, even better. I will not be touching the folder because it's not here to touch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to slap chat the gang and be like, hey, so some Wraith bullshit just showed up at my window, played some sad doo-wop. I don't know, gave me a cryptic warning. It was terrifying, very extra planar, left some ectoplasm on my window, although that's mostly faded away by now. Any bullshit happening anywhere else?
Funny you should say that.
Yeah.
So, you know that woman you met in that weird book at the bottom of the temple that belonged to one of the brothers?
The librarian stuck in the book. Didn't know what it was. Yeah,
her name is Sylvia.
How do you, did you look in the book?
No, she's out of the book.
Ah.
She's currently passed out of my arms right now. And something, like, opened the book before Fran locked that down again.
Well, that's concerning.
Yeah, I'm gonna go take her to one of the rooms and get her some, like, food and clothes and stuff.
Okay. Very sensible. Does she seem like she caused this? Like she's a threat in any way, or?
No, I wasn't getting any. I think she was just as surprised as I was, and she weighs like nothing, so I think she'll be okay in one of the rooms, and we can maybe question her when she wakes up tomorrow. Anybody else? Any more bullshit?
Kiki's like, nothing here. Need help? Either need help? She asked if either of you need assistance in any way.
I'm a little concerned about how somebody was able to get into the temple. So maybe if you've got like a trap laying around, we can put like a ward or something. Like, you know what I mean?
So Kiki will ask, "What do you mean someone got in the temple?" Because the book was there and the librarian was in it already, and then, but you said someone had to enter the book for the current librarian to be expelled. Is that what you mean?
Yes, and
that's what she told us way back
and
when.
Something had happened. Like I was getting some of like Fran's energy to kind of seal it off, because obviously somebody did something and to prompt that response. And it just gives me the heebie-jeebies a little bit.
All right, Kiki, come. Kiki said she'll come to the temple.
I'll come.
Yeah, if nothing else, to like investigate and see what's up. Like she wants to take a look at the book and stuff like that.
Yeah, so while I'll wait for everybody to get there, but in the meantime, I'm gonna take Sylvia, put her in one of the rooms, lay out some clothes, like some food, and then just kind of quietly leave and go back downstairs to show everybody else what's going on.
Okay. Kiki,
I imagine I'll swing by Kiki's place with a gack and pick her up.
Kiki's pleased to have a ride service.
Traffic is terrible this time of night.
Yes.
So it's not Kiki's delivery service, it's the Kiki delivery service?
It's the Kiki delivery service, yes.
You're on fucking
Nice.
thin ice, lady.
All right, well, Kiki will show up at the temple with Nikki.
Okay, you all convene. Allie, you are awoken by this, obviously, and you are...
I already said I was coming over to the temple.
Yep, so you all gain together. Tessa shows you the young woman, and Nikki, you confirm that is the librarian you saw inside the book when you had your brief stint inside.
Kiki wants to investigate the book without touching it yet, though. She just wants to see, is there anything she can tell? Like, is it different? Is there anything around?
You'd have to make an Arcana check for that. Because, like, looking at it, it looks as it did before.
Looks like it did before.
I would like to help with this Arcana
You
check,
may
especially
also
since I
make
was
it-
in the book.
Yeah, you also make an Arcana check.
I can make an Arcana check.
I will watch and give encouraging advice.
Mhm.
I rolled a 5 for a total of 23.
Can we
Cool.
make any other kind of check?
26.
You can't insight
for-
the book, if that's what you're
Kiki.
asking.
I'm not asking to insight the book.
Perception just
The book-
it looks like it did before. Like
Okay,
you would
what
need
else do we
other
need?
sort of senses to do that.
And I will let the magic people do the arcane things.
Yep. So the two of you are kind of looking at it together with the 23 and the 26, and it appears to you that this thing has been, for lack of a better word, like hacked or jailbroke. So something got in, messed with how
Fuck
its
me.
magic normally works, and then, to the best of Kiki, your knowledge, with Nikki, this like kicked out the occupant as a safety measure. Like the book is going to be potentially destroyed or something. There's an occupant in it. Get the occupant out.
Okay. Okay.
Because didn't one of us go in the book, and that's how we
It was
conversed
me.
with her? Yeah, it was Nikki.
Hmm?
So we know that entering is possible, but there was something about this visitor that set off this automated system.
Hmm?
Okay.
Is it
And there-
possible that
Mhm.
whoever or whatever it was is still in there?
You are unsure of that.
Also, I just thought of a pun thing, which is that Allie may be very good at insight, but Kate is very good at incite, rage, in Scoot. Kate is doing the happy cat dance, like the wiggle shoulders. It's important for the viewers to know this.
Scoot has murder in his eyes.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I've got another game tomorrow with Scoot, and I've got a character who's only got 19 hit points left.
Oh dear.
I can wait.
Just player rage transfer between campaigns. Is that like allowed?
No, but Dungeon Masters is.
Oh no. Is there anything else around? Like any?
Now you can make an investigation check to kind of scope the area and kind of see what's going on, folks.
Yes.
Scope the area.
I am so excited.
Critical for Allie.
Hey, Scoot,
25.
guess what I did?
You crit.
Nice.
I crit.
You,
I crit failed. Oh, I don't know why I rolled twice. Probably because I'm using my fat fingies and not a mouse.
we take the first one then, since that would be the roll.
It does. It's bad regardless.
Yeah.
29 for Kiki.
Yep. So Tessa is just kind of
Oh.
tired. You know, she's had a long fucking day of doing stuff, and the geckos are particularly active.
She's justifiably stressed by bullshit happening at
Mhm.
Fran's temple.
Yeah, I'm very much concerned by the fact that somebody had gotten in here without my knowledge.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
This checks
This is
out.
supposed to be a safe space, damn it.
oh, and from what the rest of you can tell, because Allie, you begin.
That's a good fucking drink.
You all begin scanning around, and you find there's an odd, like the book is old and powerful, and it sort of screws, like these items in general screw with the magical divineness of the space. So something slipped in through there. Like nothing forced its way through Fran, because nothing is probably going to do that. Nothing has. But like these items that you have brought back and stored here are a kind of like almost a back door. Because you can see residual Shadowfell nonsense, or maybe even Valhita nonsense, based on those very high rolls, that something found a small opening, got in, tried something, and it was immediately fucking banished. Like the moment the temple, sort of as this quasi-living entity that it's you folks have known it to become, realized something was here, it kicked it the fuck out. But it took it a second, and
Good job, Temple.
something attempted to jailbreak the book.
So we do think it's in the book, or it got
No,
yeeted
something
out
has
of
been something tried to get into the
Okay.
book, and then
Okay.
once the sort of divine senses of this place got a feel for it, like this consecrated
Right.
holy place, it just banished whatever that was, is now gone.
Got it. I keep picturing like this like shadow fell mouse that tried to like sneak in a crack and was like and like tried to jump in, and then friend was like no and get like swatted to the side.
Yeet.
Okay, so the book is empty, meaning like there's no caretaker, which could be a problem because it felt like it always had to have a caretaker, right? Wasn't that the librarian said she couldn't leave unless someone took over?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was also kind of stuck there though, because nobody ever like relieved her. Because the
Yeah.
book kind of like got lost, stolen, whatever. So
Right, but Nikki, looking at it, like, it's stable. It's sitting there. Like, it's not a situation where, like, there has to be a guardian who will be destroyed. Like, the book is there. It's still pretty magic. Like, it's still the same type of magic with this extra stuff that kind of tried to break it open. But, like, it's there. It's not breaking apart. It's not going to explode. Like, it's just, there's nobody manning the helm at the moment.
Kiki, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No,
you-
Kiki will ask Tessa. She's still worried about like people, things, objects getting in the temple, or does she think that the temple's like now on alert?
I think because of the explanation that from the perception rolls, I think she's satisfied that the temple was doing its job. But I think she'll be a little bit like, a little bit more cautious, I guess. But I think for now, it seems like whatever it was is not here anymore. The temple did its job.
Okay. All right. Well, we can talk to the librarian when she's rested in the morning and get a sense of how she thinks this worked, if she understood the rules of the book at all, and so on and so forth.
Does it seem like... So I've been in the book, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very
Very briefly.
Do I have any... Very briefly, admittedly, yes.
Mhm.
Do I have any insight into how the book is, for lack of a better word, feeling about this? It from when I was in there, it seemed like it was at least somewhat, not sentient per se, but it's got a lot of fucking magic in it, and it
Make
can interact with the world on its own accord,
Make
right?
an intelligence check.
Okay. This just raw int.
Raw end.
Okay. So it clicks 11.
You have no idea. This is
Can't tell.
complicated and
Okay.
old.
I look at the book and I'm like, damn, that is a complicated fucking book. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
She-
Maybe I
she-
should go talk to Sylvia about it, see if she has any ideas once she wakes up.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, Kiki offers to like have Pinion patrol the temple or something like that. Her RoboDog patrol the temple if Tessa would like just the extra assurance, but otherwise, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't, feel bad about parting with him, or if you wanted to stay here tonight, it's certainly, I think she's just a little on edge right now, so she'll probably take whatever is offered.
Okay, what around what time is it now, Scoop?
It's probably like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Oh
Right.
wow, it's late.
Kiki's probably already got her 3 hours of sleep, so she's got her notebook and her RoboDog. She'll ask Pinion. She'll just command him to like patrol and like bark as fucking
And-
loudly as possible if there's.
I
anything
almost hate to
unusual.
say it too, but maybe have him also patrol outside Sylvia's door.
Oh, sure. He could guard. Like, he could be like a guard dog.
Yeah,
if you-
it might be benefit because we don't know if something was after her or she
Good point.
is going to sneak out or something. I don't know, but
Okay. Well, Pinion. Okay, so she'll have Pinion guard Sylvie's room. She'll write a note and hang it from Pinion, and it says, "Hi, my name's Pinion. I'm friendly RoboDog." Sylvie doesn't know Jack if she wakes up.
Here is a robo treat to give me if I have been a good robo boy.
Yeah, pretty much. and she'll say defend, meaning Sylvie if anyone comes
And he
anything,
will-
and bark like fucking mad. Yeah.
Yeah, and there are like there are soldiers and guardians around that you can tell like, hey, hang
keep
out
forgetting
here
that.
tonight. Yeah, you have people that work at this temple.
Tessa has power. She's got
Mhm.
personnel. I mean, she's got
You do.
resources. But I like
keep forgetting I have resources.
I like the thought of Pinion like sitting outside this door.
I also
Instead of,
think
like-
that maybe Pinion might be more equipped to deal with the weird bullshit or like alert us for the weird
It's a good
bullshit versus like your normal soldier.
Yeah, and Kiki will hang out nearby, but she'll have Pinion like literally post right outside Sylvie's door with the note.
Okay. So with that, are the rest of you heading back to bed? Because like Kiki's going to be good to go. She doesn't need that much sleep.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go back to bed.
Okay. Nikki heads back. Allie, you head back
Yeah.
to bed. And it is not much later that Allie, you feel a tug to awaken, kind of come over you as you sleep with Kem and Bendo.
Just really quick, can I actually crash at the temple in one of the guest rooms, given that there was also some bullshit at my
Oh, yeah.
window?
Yeah, sure.
You're always welcome.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Allie, you feel that kind of like that, a familiar tug to awaken and draws you to the window.
Oh, okay. Is it? Do I see a familiar face? I'm assuming.
Well, you see a familiar cloaked figure that's kind of standing outside with mist shrouding him as if like a fog has rolled in off the canal. But that doesn't usually happen. Like, it's a canal, so you're not by the ocean. And like, this is very
Right.
much magical nonsense.
Allie's tolerance for magical nonsense is relatively low, but she'll come on over to the window.
Mm-hmm. So you go to open it to kind of pop your head out, and he's vanished. But there is a small box where he was standing.
I would like to go and investigate the box more
Okay.
fully.
So you head down. Do you want to investigate it, or do you just want to pick it up?
I would like to investigate it first,
Mhm.
because I don't do picking up odd objects without, cause.
That's my thing.
Yeah. What's my investigation? +7. 12. Not my best investigation.
Yeah, it's a box. It doesn't appear to be trapped.
Alright, well, if I don't think it's trapped, I'm gonna open it.
Yeah, you open it. You see a tome is in there.
I am wary about opening said tome.
You're not. We know you're not Nikki.
Yeah. What's the name of it? Is there a title on the outside?
There is, the cover is in like onyx or obsidian, kind of wrapped up there, and it is in an old form of common.
Okay, well, I don't speak that, so that's going to be
Well, you do. You just don't speak the old garbled English of Shakespeare and like.
Wait, no. Tongue of Sun and Moon doesn't let me read, does it?
No, that lets you speak.
Yep.
You need Eyes of the Rune Keeper for that.
Mhm.
Yeah, then I'm going to have to wait until I've got one of my more learned colleagues around, so that's coming to the library with me when people wake up.
Yep. Morning passes. Okay, we're getting a lot of click clack.
Oh, sorry. I will put myself on mute.
Morning, the one that sees something next. You see Phil, and he's tooling around doing Phil stuff. But you see that that Kenku that claimed to be your father is with him. And they're having a very odd conversation because your dad doesn't have a squawk box. Phil doesn't really talk a whole lot. So you see them, they're kind of just passing a paper.
Still just like belching and then Kiki's dad is mimicking the belch.
Yeah, they seem to have this weird burp language between them, and they're just more of accentuating things. But they are passing a notebook back and forth. And they're definitely like going over something. Like they're working on something together, as Phil takes him to as it kind of just leads him to a different part of the temple.
All right, they're busy speaking. Oh, he's not leading him to me, just to a different.
No,
part of the
like
temple.
you notice him, and you at this point, like your parents have been around for like a month,
Yeah.
and you just haven't talked to them a whole lot. They
Correct.
haven't left because they're not just sure where to go. And they've kind of shacked up with Tiggins, that raccoon gentleman that hangs out with the
dear.
geckos and manages them sometimes. The one that's been paying cuts, aka taxes, to Nikki on her lands. So, yeah, and this is the first time you've really seen him. He's just hanging out with Phil, and they are, from what you can briefly glimpse on the sheet, they're working on something alchemical.
Is it a love affair?
Oh, good God.
You don't know.
Wow.
You're not there.
Okay, so they're walking. They're like heading
very casually, like just moving. They're just moving past you. Like they're so into what they're doing, and it's very you actually to be sort of just in. So what they're doing that they're not really noticing the surroundings. People are more getting out of their way than they're moving away from people, because everyone knows Phil, and they know not to jostle Phil, because he's usually full of something.
Might explode.
Like, it might be nitroglycerin, it might be Pepsi, they don't know. Like,
right. All right. Kiki is surprised and intrigued because she knows next to nothing about her birth parents and this odd couple thing going on. So she'll follow them, but she'll stealth, like almost out of habit, just a non-natural 20.
Okay.
Like, so she'll kind of like, she knows the temple pretty well from, helping Tessa and stuff. So she'll kind of like,
well, they rolled
hang
single
back
digits
and
on
stuff.
perception, so they have they do not even bother, they're not even looking. You see them head to a lab is the word I'm going to use, but it's not, OSHA would freak out a lot if they saw it. But Phil, Laverne, and Shirley have brought together this sort of like alchemy shop of their own. And you see him talking with Phil specifically, and he's pointing at different plants that the gals have raised, and they're kind of going back and forth with the plans. Make me an investigation check, Kiki.
I'm so excited because her investigation is so crit, and so it's 38.
Nice.
So from like you can kind of hear him. He'll slip into Orin every now and again that he's like trying to think like it's like, well, he's talking to himself. How do I say this? How do I say this? How do I say this word? But you hear him, and he's talking about making poisons. Now they're low grade poisons. It's like how to deal with like rats and unwanted bugs.
Mosquito spray.
Yeah, like that's what he's going over with Phil. Is like how to basically make like how do you like bugs that will breed in still water. How do you do that without poisoning the water entirely so it's not usable?
Wait, so there is literally bug spray or something like
like it, like how to basically make a poison that will affect small Newsome creatures, but not powerful enough to kill them or humans or like larger like the farmers basically. Like Phil has tapped him for that, it seems. But by the way he's talking, he's basically taking a much more powerful poison and then cutting it until it's not as lethal.
When you say he,
Great.
you mean
Your
Kiki's father?
Yes.
So, homeopathy poison version?
More like poisoner that understands how size and body works in a world that has a large variety of creatures with different constitutions.
So first of all, I have to say Kiki knows no OSHA. She doesn't understand what concerns about a safe work environment are. So there's probably very little about Phil's lab that would concern her.
Yeah.
But she's making the concern gesture over her face, like when she hears like her father talking about diluting very strong poisons. So she'll just like let herself into the room and be like, "Hi."
Yeah.
And she's got this kind of look like. Bit of nonplussed look on her face, like
So Phil is just like he just waves at you in his normal kind of like tongue out method, and he just waddles over to you, and then waves. And your father looks like, or the man that's claiming to be your father is a little like, he sort of just says hi. He mimics your hi back, being a Kenku, but he doesn't know what to do beyond that, because your mother and father have given you lots of space since they've come to this place, And this is
Wisely.
sort of the first interaction he's had, and he was clearly not prepared for it.
Kiki looks sort of back and forth between Phil and the Kenku, who's supposed to be her father, and she'll be like, she'll look at Phil. She'll be like, working with poisons?
Phil nods, and he goes, and he makes it just like small poisons, small amounts.
Kiki goes, mm-hmm. Kiki makes small booms too, and she gives him a little look like, yeah, okay, I believe you.
He gives you a thumbs up. He loves all your booms. He thinks he sees no problem with any of this.
That's true. Kiki's scale for booms has also like shifted, like the Overton window for when she like exploded that giant mecha. Now, like pretty much, she considers most of her bombs to be small booms. Okay, then she'll turn to the Kenku and just start talking in Orin. Well, she'll say to Phil, she's like, gonna talk in bird speak, Orin. And she turns to her dad and she's like, it's so in Orin so she can be more fluent. She's like, what's up with these? Kiki will start talking to Orin. Like she'll, nod at Phil or whatever just to say like, switching languages here for a sec, and then she'll turn to the Kinko and be like, so what's up with this talk about poisons in a temple of all places?
Oh, well, your lizard friend or colleague asked me to help him with some bed bugs or something some of the farmers been having, or in some weevils in some of their crops. I was showing him how to make a very mild way to do that.
And you know how to? I should try to do. It's really funny to try and do Kiki's voice without all her like mannerisms and affectation. Let's see if I can. She's like, do you know how to do that? How?
I'm a master poisoner.
Of course you are. And Phil found out about this. How?
He saw me working with that raccoon gentleman, and we were talking about just alchemy, and Phil came, and he's very friendly. He just asked if I knew I could help him with this, and I said I could.
Okay, the thought of her father being a master poisoner and working with Tiggins, like Kiki is starting to massage her. She's massaging her temples a little bit because she remembers when we met Tiggins and the whole potion scheme thing that was going on. So she's a little.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, okay, I guess. Do you need help talking to Phil? Because she does. I don't know how much her parents know. She's like, I'm not perfectly fluent in common, but I can get some things across if you need help.
We've been okay so far, but I would welcome any help that you could give me.
Kiki will agree to do so mainly because she wants to keep an eye on this. Like the combination of this stranger, who's her dad, and Tiggins is just like, not like Shadowfell trying to take over the temple, get in a book kind of level of concern, but more is something going to end up in the water supply and make people's feathers and hair fall out kind of concern.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
it's more Saturday morning cartoon. Tiggins is more of a Saturday morning cartoon villain.
Yeah.
So
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she'll offer to help translate, and she knows like the temple and the land and stuff, and so
So your father will show you what he's working on, and like he'll show you what he and Phil have been working on, and like as you look at it, Kiki, you don't know a lot about alchemy, but you can see that like. Your dad has been cutting, like, since you've been making powder and stuff, you have a rough idea of that, but like, and it looks like he's genuinely been taking precautions to make, like, he's erring on the side of it being weaker than it being stronger, just as a safety measure. Like, he genuinely doesn't seem to want to hurt people, he just wants to fulfill this task that this nice lizard person who's been, like, helping to feed him and your mom has asked him to do.
Yeah, so Kiki will mainly, like, again, while she doesn't, she's a genius. So even though she doesn't know that, she'll basically help with terminologies. And if she doesn't know a term in common, she'll talk around it or let his alchemical symbols do the talking.
Yep.
So yeah, she'll help.
And throughout the night, you do get it together, and you do find, again, even though you're not an expert, you can kind of ballpark that they have enough to, like, they have a small batch of it, enough to sort of test it to make sure it's okay. They're going to head down into the depths and try to take care of some of these, like, again, some of the more pesty insects. The mosquitoes are going to come that just seem to love Tessa for some reason. Down by the...
But everything
Because she's so lovable.
Yeah.
Everything loves Tessa. It's true.
Fuck mosquitoes, man. They will not leave me alone ever.
Yeah. So he makes a small enough batch that, like, it's that, and that's... Phil seems to be like, okay, like, this is exactly what Phil wanted, and he's very happy with the arrangement, and he's gonna kind of trundle off to go do more Phil stuff as he inadvertently leaves you with your dad in the room.
Yeah, Kiki wasn't exactly expecting this interaction either, but she'll be like, so is your wife a master poisoner too? She, like, doesn't know what to call them, so she'll just refer to her mother as his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you meet and bond over that or something? Like,
well, sort of. We were in a very similar line of work. My wife and your mother, and he's also having a hard time, like, he doesn't know if I mean, that's, in theory, you came from a male and female Kenku, so this is, he's in that more kind of biological sense than, like, this familial sense.
Right.
She's not a poisoner, but she uses my poisons to kill people for money. He just says blatantly. Like, he's at this point, there's like, you're an adult, like, I'm not hiding, like, what are you gonna do? She's very good at it. Wonderful.
And Kiki won't say out loud "Parents of the Year," but she'll just be like, she'll restrain herself. She's like, yeah, cool, I guess.
I guess I'd rather have a competent poisoner for a mom than an incompetent poisoner. Like, at least I don't have to worry about my breakfast cereal, right? Like,
yeah.
Kate, you're muted.
So she's like, she'll just kind of make awkward conversation, like, do you do that a lot, or were you in that cage for a long time?
No, we were working for a time, Kiki, and he looks to you and he goes, do you want to get into this now? And he says in a way of, like, he's not being determined. He's like, do you want to go down this conversational road right now, or do you want to hold that off for later?
So to herself, Kiki will think, like, if she doesn't do it now, she might have trouble getting up the courage again.
Mm-hmm.
To be like, like, oh yeah, let's meet for dinner, and so you poison people a lot? Yeah.
We'll go to Wendy's and we'll talk about how you've been murdering people for years.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so she'll just give me the cliff notes, is what she'll say.
Right. So for a few years we worked for an organization down in the Thousand Isles. They were heavily contesting a badger's den, a particularly powerful one. So they were recruiting anyone they could. We were used, he says. I fell into a lot of debt, so did your mother with them. And they wanted, they figured we together would make an offspring that could be very useful to them, having lots of intelligence, and if my wife, your mother's skill And they made us an offer that they would clear our debts if when the time came and you became old enough, we began to train you in the same ways that we, in our knowledge, to work for them. And we decided that wasn't a thing we were going to do. So we killed a lot of the leadership, he says, kind of thinking about it like in the way of like, we had a plan that we did not think would work, but it worked, and then we just ran. We took you to the lands of the Minotaurs because we had heard that there was this place called the Tranquil Valley, and you would be safe there because no one, most folks don't mess with them, being large, strong cow people that are nice, kind of. So we did our best to leave you there, but we knew that the damage we had done against the Badgers as well as his gang, if you were with us, I don't know if you would have survived. So we left. We hoped for the best, and that was wrong, and that doesn't make an excuse for not being there for you. But that's what happened.
Okay, so speaking as Randall, not Kiki, so wait, they were hired to kill people at the Badgers, or the Badgers hired them?
They were hired to fight against the Badgers, which is a losing prospect. Kiki would know, that's a losing prospect to begin with. But they were hired to do that, and they were moderately successful in that. But they, basically this gang they worked for, which is referred to as the Vipers, he tells you. They wanted basically these two to have a child to train you as basically sort of like super assassin, and to come work for them so they could gain control. And they said, we are not condemning our chick to this. Fuck off, we're not doing that. So they made a John Wick-esque play to just murder a lot of the leadership, and were successful, it seems. And then they ran, and they fled to the Tranquil Valley. They tried to find a place for you, and then they knew that the Badgers are everywhere. They have been causing the Badgers a lot of problems, so they just left. Because that was the best way they could figure to have you not either constantly be on run with them, or to be a target.
It's a lot for Kiki to take in. She's a little bit but I will say, as Randall, I would watch the hell out of this prequel.
Right?
These two Kenkus are taking on this gambling /
it's like Bonnie and Clyde Kenku.
Yep.
Holy Moses! They're taking on this because the Badger's Den, as listeners probably know from other episodes, they do they provide sex work, gambling, drugs, this all that fringes of the law at best, kind of thing. But they're really well resourced and embedded in places. 100%, I would watch the hell out of that. I want an anime about
these
this
birds.
For Kiki's backstory that she didn't know till now.
So he does do one more thing, and he reaches into one of his many pockets that he has just scattered over what clothing he has, and he gives you a pair of lockets, where he kind of puts it down next to no, he doesn't touch you. He doesn't want to get too close because he doesn't know how physical contact is going to go. But he kind of puts it on the table and he says, "This is for you."
Okay. Kiki will, just sort of look at it, not actually investigating it per se, but just sort of look at it a little bit, and then she'll pick it up. And
so as you open the box up, you see it as this chain or two lockets, which are two ravens with a nest in the middle, and the nest has what look to be these pristine crow or raven feathers that have been shrunk and are set in the middle with an even tinier one. So they're both if you think of the fleur-de-lis from the French flag, so you have the two long ones and then a teeny tiny one that might have come from a baby chick. And they said, we after we left you, for what it's worth, we were a mess, and we thought if we ever found you again, we would give you this as a chance to say, and he seems almost like embarrassed to say this, but he's like, happy birthday, to help make up a little bit for this I know we've missed a lot, but we wanted to give you something.
Kiki's like, birthday?
Yes. The day you hatched.
What day?
And he gives you a date.
Okay. Because she's never known.
He gives you a date you were hatched, because they would know that.
She just sort of like, KK, and she kind of like lifts the locket up to him, sort of like acknowledging. She doesn't quite say thanks because she's roiling with emotions right now. She kind of half turns to leave, and she's like, maybe talk more later. Mm-hmm. She was like, with her too, maybe. And she kind of starts slipping into like broken common because she's so flustered now. And then she just sort of like nods at him again, and then she's like, Pinion, come on, Pinion. And then she walks out because she just needs to get some distance and breathe.
Yep. So as Kiki leaves, this is something the audience will see. Another Kinku drops from the ceiling and kind of comes up to full height and is in tears and just wraps up into the male bird, and he just kind of takes her in, and they're both just sobbing, like very quietly, as much as a bird can sob. As Kiki just kind of Kiki processing all of this, and Tessa, you just feel this ping of emotional pain from somewhere in the temple, and then it's gone quickly, like it's this little snap of it.
Huh, wow, I suddenly felt like shit for like a moment there.
Weird. By the way, I'm so here for Kiki's mom being like this badass master assassin when she just was in the temple the whole time and just drops down. Like, yeah. Kiki's gonna go off and just sort of, I think she's just gonna wander the temple, almost like pacing, like she was trying to solve a problem. Like she doesn't really have, for once, she doesn't really have an overt cognitive thought process problem she's working out. It's just like it's internal feelings, so she'll just kind of wander without purpose around the temple.
But morning soon comes, Tessa, and you are up as you usually are. So is Allie, because you when your night isn't interrupted, you tend to get up early, because Kem definitely does. Bendo's lazy ass is in bed if she has anything to do.
Bendo's still asleep. Bendo's always still asleep.
Yeah.
But I'll be up early, and I'm gonna bring the book to the temple.
Yep. But you do see stirring. There is a scream, Tessa, from the room where Sylvia is, but I like panic scream.
So I'm like gonna race down there because she's probably like only like a couple floors underneath me. So I'll try to get there as fast as I can.
Yep, and you see she has a spell up, like in her hand. She's holding it. And you see Thrax is like, whoa. He's in there, like he has a plate of food for her, and he's like, oh, it's cool. I work here. I'm dating the big one. Oh, hey babe. He waves at you.
What's okay? Let's all just calm down.
Deep breaths.
And she's like looking, and the hand turns to you with the magic like holstered in it. She goes, "You're the one from last night."
Yeah.
Who's he? And she points the spell hand back to Thrax.
That's my fiance. He's just bringing you breakfast because you seem like you haven't eaten in a while.
And her hand lowers. And she's like, I'm so, and she's just a lot of emotions roiling up in her now as she's like embarrassed, sad, real fucking hungry.
Don't worry about it. I mean, you were kind of trapped in that book for a really long time. I mean, that's you got to be defensive, I suppose.
Yeah, Thrax is like, I feel like you need more bacon. I'm gonna get you more bacon. And he just kind of walks, not really understanding the torrent of magic that may have just hit him. Just kind of puts the food down and heads to the kitchen with Bosco in tow.
So I'm gonna turn to Sylvia. So do you remember anything? You just kind of like passed out a little bit.
Yeah, something broke the incantation that kept me in there, and the book rejected me. Like, it's supposed to do that, but, like, is the book destroyed?
No, it's fine. It seems to be in ship shape.
The fuck?
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
don't know about ship, but I'm not
I
sure.
had my friend Nikki. I believe you met her recently, and she took a look at it, and
Yeah, the Thought Wizard, yeah.
so yeah, I mean, the book is still there, and we seem to be safe. Whatever tried to get in is banished now.
And I'm at the Conclave.
Yes.
Why is there sheep stuff everywhere?
Because this is Fran's temple.
Okay.
Fran Sheep,
Okay,
the friendship goddess.
got it. Okay, I forgot that there was a sheep friend goddess. It's been a while. Okay.
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
So I've been in that book for like 2 millennia. So there's a lot of things that I'm not really sure about. Okay. And she
Well,
sort of
I mean-
sinks back into the bed and like puts her head against the wall like, oh god.
I'm not the
Oh,
best at
well.
history. Maybe Nikki or Kiki might be better at that, but I can let
would
you
love
know what's
these
going
two
on now.
Flabbergasted women to be talking right now. Kiki having all this family drama and her like, I'm 2,030 years old. What the fuck? Like,
Well, you look great for your age.
thank you. Can I?
Well, you're welcome to stay here if you'd like.
Thank you. Can I see outside? I haven't seen outside in a long time.
I mean, sure, if you want to go outside, you certainly can. I mean, Pinion was just here really to watch over you at night. You're free to kind of come and go as you will, but there's a window right there if you want to get a quick look.
Okay. What is it? Who is Pinion? What is a Pinion?
I assume that the Pinion maybe is like sitting off to the side.
No, Pinion is wandering with Kiki, isn't he? Because you.
I
called
forgot.
Pinion,
Yeah,
so
I forgot that. I think if there were guards around, then maybe she would have had.
Yeah.
Okay, then never mind.
Pinion was doing it for a while, but yeah.
Okay. Do you have maps I could look at? I'd like to see what is.
Actually, yeah, why don't we
In
go
existence.
to the main council room, the one with the big table, because there's all sorts of maps on the walls in there, and that's next to our archive, which has a lot of library books you can look at.
I would like that after I eat. And she just like, there's no. What seems like a very like proper kind of maybe was a noble or something back in the day. Just that's gone, and she is shoveling pancake in her mouth, like she's just that hungry.
And I have some extra clothes for you too. They're in the closet.
Oh, thank you. I got some things to figure out.
Take your time. We'll be around if you need anything.
Okay. She does finish. She goes, "This is delicious." She's just in between shovels of pancake. Just eventually, she does see there's implements to help her do this, so she does grab them and takes them in. She's like, "I have not had a mimosa in such a long time."
Well, that has changed now, so enjoy.
Okay. She goes with you to the map room. Like, she makes chit chat with you, and she starts to ask like questions about what in the fuck is going on with the world. And when she sees the world map of Ryam, she is like, "Okay, that's different." And she's like asking you about places that you'd have never heard of before.
I do my best to answer, but again, I'm probably not the best at this, but that's what the world looks like now. Did it not?
I would meet you guys in the map room.
Did it not look like that?
No. There are more islands. There was not a country of tieflings. That was not a thing. And minotaurs are running a large swath of the planet. Or sort of?
I mean, it's a portion of it. I wouldn't call it a large swatch.
Okay. And werewolves just... And she's like looking around like, and werewolves just walk around.
Yeah, we've
Yeah,
got quite a
maybe.
few around here.
Okay. That's just a thing now. Okay. And she's not like... It's not like she's disgusted by this shit. She's like, okay, this is new. This is a new thing, and I have to get used to this. Like, okay. But Ellie, you do make your way in, and Nikki, you do make your way up from kind of your room at this point. And Kiki, I don't know if you're still wandering or what your mental state is currently.
I mean, if Tessa pings just to say like, "Hey, Sylvie's up,"
Yeah, I probably would have done
Yeah, Kiki, she would actually welcome a distraction, so she would join Ali and Tessa.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm confused by a lot of things.
Fair. How long were you in the book for?
2 millennia, maybe?
Well, I know somebody who was trapped in a dagger for about a millennia. She might be able to, like, give you some helpful insights about the whole reacclimation thing.
NBD.
She's just there, like, that out of all the shit you could have said to her, that she was not prepared for that. That, like, there are other people that, like, you casually know that's been trapped in magical items for a long time. She's like, probably. Yeah.
Across our campaigns, we could start a support group.
I mean, she's also a healer, and she's specialized in working with, post-war folks. So she's also my mom. So I'll ask her if she can come by.
There's that little detail.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Because I'm a little confused.
Mm-hmm.
Is your mom a fox?
Nope, mom's a tiefling, dad's a fox.
Of course,
Kitsune.
she says, as she's like, of course, that's okay. Cool.
Technically, you didn't actually miss this one. Like, you didn't miss this new development by much. I'm the first generation of this.
I'm glad to see there's still new types of folk being, and this is a genuine. She's like, okay, like there's new types of people being made. That's wow, that's a fucking thing. Like, cool,
Kind of sick.
yeah, that's awesome.
At this point, Nikki will come in, like, not quite like full squee mode, but very excited because I'm basically talking to a human book here, right? Like,
Oh, so since you're in the book, I'm assuming you are fluent in most languages, lots of languages.
Yeah, I've studied a lot of things, although I'm probably not up with the hip jive that you
Good
kids
news.
are talking now.
This is a really old text, and I can't read it.
Okay. I would like to do research because that's something I understand in a world that is completely different from everything I've ever known. And
Nikki, you want to
most
listen
people
to?
I know are dead. Huh. That's.
I'll come in. Oh my gosh, Sylvia, I'm so glad you're awake and like, are you okay? Is everything like physically? I'm sure it's a lot, but
Yeah, I mean, I'll be real honest. I haven't pooped in a long time, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. Magic, man.
gonna have to light a candle for that one if it's been.
No, it's just
Backed up, man.
It's just nice to have my bodily functions be normal and not magically done for a long time.
I can respect that. I
Okay.
can respect that.
Allie will put out the book for Nikki and for Sylvie to look at.
Her eyes go wide and go, "Where did you get this?"
Oh, from The World's Most Dramatic Rogue.
And she looks at you like she knows what you're talking about.
Do I know what she's talking about?
Insight
Given
checks
that we've already
everyone
had a
else.
run-in.
Hey, insight checks. Let's see if you know. Because you people probably know a lot of dramatic rogues. Like, Bendo lives with you, so...
I got
fair.
an 8 total. So
Of 14?
I've met a rogue once.
Yeah. Tessa might know what Radia, and she's like, I don't...
No, actually, Tessa doesn't know who Roddy is at all.
Thrax does come back with bacon and doesn't give you some, and you see that Bosco is just... You don't know
He's
where
just
he-
attached to the other end of the bacon.
Yeah, you have, you have a Lady in the Tramp moment with Bosco.
Aw.
I will win.
Maybe the trap moment, but competitive.
The power of Fran compels you. This is my fucking bacon.
You had your breakfast.
Yes, but what about,
What about
third
second? What about
breakfast?
second breakfast?
He's already had his second
Luncheon,
breakfast.
tea,
So
dinner.
he's probably tricked us both into feeding him breakfast.
True.
Nikki, you know that it's probably that spooky rogue guy that visited her before.
Give Ali a sharp look. What, again?
I'm guessing he showed up because things happened with the book.
Yeah, I mean,
I
checks
suppose it
out.
could be the reason things happened with the book, but all the things around the book seem like Valheda shadow bullshit, and he's shadowy, but he's not shadow bullshit.
Not the same flavor, right? Yeah,
Very different.
Okay, so you don't. Okay, this is how to put this. Like, this is a book that is detailing the plane of Valhita, including like maps and where things are. I don't know how current it is, but there's a reason it's written in obsidian. Like, this is obsidian here, to help prevent shenanigans that are affecting it. But this is like, as she opens and looks through it, she's like, yeah, this has a lot of information about the inner working of the plane, which is that came from one person. Only one person has done this. Oh god! And she
world's most dramatic rogue.
And she just sits down. Was he undead, or was he a zombie or something? Like, please tell me he's not.
No. The Magi's an Archlich. He's
what?
undead.
She says. Like,
but the rogue is.
She actually faints, like to the point where like, like Thrax has to catch her for a second, and she comes to.
I failed to catch her, so it's a good thing that Thrax is here.
So whoop. And he just, Bosco hops up and starts licking her face, and she comes to, and she's like, "Oh, hello, dog. Hello, young people."
This is Bosco, and he's very good.
Yes, and she just kind of starts.
He's a good boy.
Therapy dog. Therapy dog.
Hugging him.
Kiki will speak up and be like, "Too many people here for you? Is it okay that we're all here?" Like, because Kiki gets sensory like overload, like she understands, so she's a little bit like, "You need more quiet."
I would like no more people than this, though. If no more people could come in, that would be great.
All right, Kiki tells Pinion, "Guard door, good dog."
And she's just holding on to Bosco at this point and just scritching him. And he is oblivious to all of this, obviously, and is just enjoying getting pets.
Was that an I didn't get enough food yet, or an I am startled and overwhelmed by the news you have provided me with?
No, he wasn't a lich. Yeah.
2,000 years ago? No.
No.
He's
Goodness.
not aggressive about it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He's got a perfectly nice country. Okay. You went into the book before the three of them were all legend and lore, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay.
She's fairly straight. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so to answer the question you actually asked, we don't think the rogue is undead. We came across his last will and testament. We had it translated. It brought him back? We think brought him all the way back. Not zombie raised from the dead, like through resurrection?
Is he a revenant, or did he get resurrected?
I don't know. Allie, like, it just, like, sighs, takes a deep breath in, and, like, lights up with Stormlight. She's like, I punch things, and I move quickly. I told him that I didn't have time for magical bullshit, and he thought that was amusing. I cannot tell you anything about the composition of him now.
I have nothing but time for magical bullshit, but he won't talk to me. He only talks to the punchy one.
That's because I'm the punchy, sneaky one.
So, just so I'm aware, you're friends with the sheep friendship god, and she points to Tessa.
Champion of.
Everyone nods in unison, like, yeah, of course, fucking duh.
You're like the rogue's best friend.
Sure.
She looks to she looks to Allie, and she looks to Kiki and Nikki, and she's like, "Do you two have a connection to an extraplanar entity?"
Oh yeah.
Girl.
It's clear that was not the answer she was looking for.
Kiki goes, "No," because she's like not sure about her parents.
Well, what about that person that gave you like your puzzle box?
Oh, yes. Oh, me too.
Oh yeah.
Kiki takes out the puzzle box globe and gives it a little shake.
Her eyes also freak out for a minute.
You're familiar with the Rakai?
The Rakai? The Proto-Dragons, yes.
Yeah, yeah. I've got a well-equipped basement.
That's what she said.
Good for you? She does not understand what that means.
I'll lean in and like whisper in her ear like, "Got one for a sugar daddy." It's how I can do this, and I cast my armor of Agathis.
She does one of those old, like, Abbott and Costello, like just sort of, like, opens her mouth to speak, closes it, thinks for a second.
Do you want to know the kind of short version of the legend and lore that I referenced, or do you want to kind of leave that be for now?
I'll read that on my own, if you
Okay.
don't mind. So you have been gifted something that this is written in his hand. Like, this is his writing.
Okay.
Do you have any idea why he gave this to you?
Probably because there's some kind of effort being led by Valheda to stop the Conclave and fight Bran.
That makes sense.
We've managed to take out a number of the,
Underlings?
yeah, I was gonna go with like the labor, like their Valheda's management, their labor maybe. But yeah, no,
They're middle management.
One of them
Kiki-
starts a partner.
Kiki becomes a thesaurus. She's like, henchmen, minions. Like she starts off.
So you're champions of, like, order and good?
Friendship. But yeah, all those other things too.
Friendship.
Kind of rolled into one.
I can't really speak to order, but
Yeah, no, I don't think you get to, yeah. Tess is orderly.
Ah! Have you seen my room lately? It's a mess.
Kiki will perk up and be like, "Good adjacent," which is how we got the term Gaffer to begin with.
Friendship. We're about friendship. And that means accepting
Friendship.
everybody for all of their flaws and their good qualities.
Kiki's
not
like
the intolerable
everybody.
flaws.
We're on the side of good. We're on the side of protecting this plane.
Do you want the world to keep spinning?
Very much
Yes.
so.
Fantastic.
We prefer it to keep spinning without any, fascist despots in charge either. Which,
And hopefully the same direction.
Maybe like
'cause I
all
get-
the life on it can keep doing that.
yeah,
Also,
Kiki's like, "Why is there a more efficient way for world to move?" And then she gets out of she's here for this. She's like, she's ready. Like,
Well, we could blow up one of the moons. That might make
giant rockets on the equator.
Okay. This. Well. Thank you for caring for me and releasing me.
I don't think we get credit for that.
Yeah, and we didn't really do that.
Where is the book that I was in?
It's downstairs.
May I see it?
Yeah, we can go take a look at it, but I mean, maybe don't touch it again because then you make it stuck.
Right, I don't plan to. And she leads you down there, and she sees around it, and it is some, like, Doctor Strange shit. As she is not speaking, but Nikki, you would know she is making, like, circle spell magic in Gallifreyan, as she is pulling spells up and moving the pieces around.
Rituals.
Yeah, she's doing it, but, like, it is some of the most complex magic you have ever seen, and she's just moving almost quick enough that you can't tell exactly what she's doing.
Can I make a roll of some sort to see how much I can like glean from this?
Arcana
Just
check,
like to learn
please.
about what's going on.
Yeah, Arcana check.
A total of 20.
So a total
What
of
a
20.
garbage roll.
Yeah,
Christ.
2. So basically what she's done in more modern terms is she has taken this book's magical code. Like, she's pulling up the script and is pulling out pieces like it was a hologram and looking at it and trying to figure out what happened. And
Sick.
is she debugging the book?
basically, she's trying to figure out, like, why is the book broken? So she's going through it, and she's like, and then she
So she's in the error log.
Yeah. So she's going through it, and her hands are just moving at an incredible pace, and so are her eyes. And, like, a spell circle just sits around Tessa and is spinning. It's not hurting you, it's just there.
I'm just
I see her moving so fast. Does it look like she's getting, like, tired at all?
No, she's just going through a lot of things at once, and she's
Okay.
there it is.
Would you like a haste?
No, I might make a mistake then. But thank you. And she then she goes, there it is, and she pulls up, and this book is just circles upon magic, circles upon script, and she pulls out the piece that appears to be broken, and as she moves everything else away, pulls it towards her, and you see it is the spellwork ritual circle that you're used to, but some of the script is turned and changed. The smooth, like, cursive-esque writing of the script is very jagged and very off. Like, letters are reversed. They're upside down, like they should not be. And she goes, hang on. And she taps it. And you hear the song, Nikki, that you heard in the folder.
I scrabble back from it a little bit, because that's rather concerning.
Okay. And then she shuts it with a quick hand motion, and the book closes again. Okay.
Did you fix it?
It can't be.
What does that mean?
So
I heard that song from a wraith last night at my window.
Just casually dropping
we are
that.
just, you folks are nothing but surprises.
Never
I
boring.
thought that might be helpful for figuring out what it was doing. It came
And
from
it's
a wraith,
only Wednesday.
or a wraith dropped it off or something.
Did the wraith? Do you make out with wraiths? Is this like a sugar wraith thing? Okay.
Oh, wraith bad.
It's a valid question.
Yeah, I mean, considering what you have just told her.
To be clear,
Yeah.
completely fair question. I'm not saying if a charismatic wraith like didn't make the moves, I would give it a shot, but no.
She looks at you like you're out of your goddamn mind.
Well, I mean, you know.
You know what? It's fine. It's fine. I'm sorry. I shouldn't judge. I'm literally in a new world. Did the wraith tell you anything?
Yes, it gave me a cryptic warning that the face there was Robert trying to remember the wording of the warning, but I can't.
It said you have been warned after you heard
Uh-huh.
the music. That's all it said.
But that was it.
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay. That's what I can remember. I was like, no, surely it said
Nope.
something else about the... No. It told me that I had been warned, but didn't elaborate on how, why, what that meant, what it was warning me about, from, of.
Okay.
Played that song, it said I was warned. Maybe warmed? It was still cold, but it's hard to understand with the spectral...
Yeah.
Did your heart feel cold after the song?
Yeah? It was kind of spooky. The doo-wop part was nice.
When Nikki mentions about being warned, Kiki pulls the warning crystal out of her puzzle box just to see if it's taken on any particular shape or something.
It has
Cool.
gone from its kind of normal hue
Mhm.
to slightly darker, and there is a like barbershop quartet, like doo-wop group, just singing.
Kiki puts it back in the.
Give me the illithid.
And for a moment contemplates destroying it.
Give me the illithid. Give me a beholder. Do not give me the doo-wop quartet.
Anything but doo-wop.
And she goes, well, this is going to sound weird, but you got a warning
Is it?
from an event in the future.
Okay, sick.
Time travel bullshit.
Well, it's hard to do. You don't really want to screw with time magic too much, because, man, there's a lot of problems with that.
I've been learning some, actually.
Of course you have. Good. I'm glad. I see we're in an age of recklessness. Okay. But warnings and things like that can come back. I don't know what the fuck this is. But it's not the evilest thing I've ever seen. I need time
We can work with
to
that.
research this. But I don't have anywhere to go. 'Cause
Why
Why don't
where
you
I
stay
live-
here?
We've got a decent library.
Yeah, we've got the archives. We've got.
And we know a researcher we can reach out to.
When she says it's not it isn't the evilest thing she's ever seen, Kiki leans in and whispers to Allie. She's like, "What's her basis of reference?" Like,
Maybe those people that like took over Nikki's mind for a little bit there.
because like maybe she hasn't seen that much evil, you know? Like,
Okay.
We can contact another researcher if you want. She'd probably be very interested in you, actually.
she's like, Kiki will also pop up. She'll be like, or a bard, like just a bard researcher. She'll just try to throw out if there's some musical component.
Maybe. This is something new. I need to find the Musadrakes and talk to them, and yeah. I hope they're alive. They're alive, right? Big.
Oh, yeah, they're alive.
Cool.
Not always big.
Oh yeah, you want to talk to Misa Drake?
I need to talk to like the real big ones, not.
Oh,
Yeah.
that can't. Well, I mean, I can
Introductions.
ask if Nub Nub is able to help.
Oh, that would be great.
So I'm in my head. Allie and Nub Nub have come up with basically like a little like whistle for like when one of them needs the other, and otherwise Nub Nub is actually a researcher. Nub Nub is an academic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so she'll let out their little kind of like trill of notes that they do.
Yep. And in comes Nub Nub, and he lands on her shoulder.
Really quick, while we're waiting for Nubnub to fly in, I would like to clarify to Sylvia that this is not. Sorry, is it Sylvie or Sylvia?
Sylvia.
Sylvia.
So
I would
he's
like
not
to
a
clarify. It's not a general age of recklessness. That was like 1 or 2 civilizations back. They mostly all blew themselves up. I'm just working on their notes.
I don't know if that makes me feel better, but I feel
Well, I haven't
less
cast
bad.
any of it yet.
That doesn't make okay.
Yet.
Yeah, because we haven't had that many combats since I unlocked it.
True. Well,
Kiki in Nikki's own will mimic Nikki's voice for that one word. Yet.
gonna lock that one away on the soundboard.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
So he does
Sylvie,
come
this
in,
is Nub. This is Sylvie.
and for the
she had-
first time, she's like, "Okay, I understand this. This is a thing I understand."
She said she needed to talk to the big Misa Drakes, but she certainly wasn't opposed to talking to someone as delightful as you either.
Oh, well, thank you. And they chat for a minute, and she's speaking to him in the Musadrake sort of form of Draconic. It's a slightly different, very melodic one that you've heard him talking to himself, Allie, in, but it's hard to. It's Draconic, but it's a lot more sing-songy than you would expect coming from like a dragon. And he's like, okay, good. And he's like, yeah, I'll go back and see if Fala or Dodo can make time.
Okay. Do you need anything if you're going to be traveling?
I just need to get to a high spot.
I can help with that.
Cool. And he just wraps up around you.
Yep.
Okay. So he's like, okay, I'm going to go to sleep for a while. Because that's an escape, and I think I need that at the moment. I'm happy to share what knowledge I have. The book is sort of bricked at the moment, but I might be able to fix it. But it's going to take a lot of time. So basically, it's like the book is an external hard drive, and it's locked. She can unlock it, but it's going to take her might take her a long time to do it.
Anything you can do to help us translate the Valhita book as well?
Oh, I can. Don't worry, that I can do quite easily.
Great.
As a point of order for the listeners, I totally have casted a chronourgy spell. I just forgot about it. It was temporal shunt. It's only a 1 round time travel, so it's very small.
Yeah. So she then just kind of goes. She gets some more food, and heads off and begins to just kind of sleep. And I think this is a good spot to kind of end for tonight, unless anyone else has any final business.
I think the only thing Allie would be doing is Allie will be planning to make a climb up to the highest point of, either the temple or the nearby mountain to, for Nub Nub's sake.
Okay. And as time goes on, Nub Nub goes up, he summons, he gets a message through, and Allie, one night, all of you see a very large dragon show up, kind of like Shenron-esque of Shenron from DBZ, and you see that Sylvia goes out and talks to them in that same sing-songy language. She goes, "Okay, thank you," and she bows very politely, and the dragon turns around and heads off.
Bless you.
She then finds Tessa, because you scare her the least of all the rampant people here.
She hasn't
How?
seen Tessa in combat.
Right.
Yet.
That's
She's seen
why.
the sword.
Yeah, she's fine with that. She goes, okay. So there might be some answers, but are you aware of an old goddess named Sigretti?
Tessa's probably
Yes.
forgotten about that.
Yeah.
I don't. If I kind of recognize the name, but I don't really know.
It's the bullshit anti-Ioun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
I
the
don't know
goddess,
who that is either.
goddess of secrets. That's Sigardi is the goddess of secrets who got accidentally unleashed.
Tessa's just kind of like,
Also from a book.
We ran into her symbol was on the robot.
All of your antagonists you've been fighting have had her symbol, and that's been allowed them to teleport away. So she tells you, so it's possible that she's behind a lot of your troubles, and I think she's up to something. There is one spot that you can probably find some information about her, but you're gonna have to go off-world.
oh, we've done that before. Where is it at?
Are you familiar with the plane of Swol?
There's a plane for that.
Mm-hmm. It's a plane for most things.
Swole, is it populated
Swole.
mainly by bros?
It's bro adjacent.
Oh, boy.
It's not the plane of bros, but it is.
Oh.
It crosses into some borderlands. She goes, "Look, get your stuff together, and I can explain a bit more. Do you have a way to move between the realms and the planes?"
Okay.
Okay. So, I will tell you more when everyone's together, and I have some things to explain. And I think that is where we will end tonight, dear listeners, on that one. And next week, the Gaffers can head to the plane of Swole for a very serious adventure.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be super
course.
serious.
Super serious.
Super serious.
All right, then from all of us here in Ryam, thank you very much, and please stay safe.